right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Keep the umbrellas handy. A big cool down's on the way and breezy weather.
A series of attempted break-ins at medical marijuana dispensaries. Another store hit overnight. Britain has a new king, but the mourning for Queen Elizabeth continues.
It was like the world is mourning. It's not just one nation.
A St. Louis woman who was in England when the Queen died, now sharing her experiences tonight. We begin at 10 with a live look over downtown St. Louis. Parts of the bi-state are drying out after a pop-up storm system moved through our area. But more rain and possible storms are on the way. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Brent Solomon. We kick things off with the first look at your forecast with meteorologist Jim Castillo. Jim, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good evening, Brent. So even around St. Anne today, and that was this evening, and right about sunset, we had about an inch of rain in 15 minutes. Right now, downtown St. Louis, we definitely heard that thunder and saw the lightning to the north and west earlier. It's nice and calm and sparkling. There's the arch and the wheel. And of course, look at this time lapse right around Lambert, St. Louis International Airport. Those clouds started to build and late in the day and right around sunset, and watch as the storm not only hit St. Anne with that very heavy rain, but also the airport. And I'll stop it right there, where sometimes we would get that lightning, and that lightning was intense in some of these cells. Still seeing some of that in part of the viewing area. So Staunton, Illinois and Livingston, Illinois, that's Madison County and going up towards Litchfield. Still seeing a lot of lightning in that cell. Nothing severe, but still some lightning, thunder, very heavy rain, and it's dotting the area. So let's zoom in a little bit more. Wentzville had a very heavy shower thunderstorm. That's weakening quite a bit, but new cells are beginning to pop up. We'll talk about this more in Maine weather. It looks like a big system coming through tonight. Much, much colder weather for tomorrow. Colder because highs are only going to be in the 60s tomorrow, Brent.
It's the start of a new era in England. Today, King Charles III was officially proclaimed Britain's new monarch. The ceremony took place at St. James's Palace in London. Charles automatically became king when Queen Elizabeth died, but today's ceremony made it official. Today, the king took a moment to honor his mother and her legacy.
My mother's reign was unequaled in its duration, its dedication, and its devotion. Even as we grieve, we give thanks for this most faithful life.
This is the first accession ceremony since 1952. That's when Queen Elizabeth took the throne. The event was televised for the very first time. Today, Buckingham Palace announced funeral arrangements for the Queen. Her funeral will happen on September 19th at Westminster Abbey in London. President Biden and other world leaders are expected to attend. Until then, Britain is in a national period of mourning. Well, while so many are mourning the Queen from thousands of miles away, a St. Louis woman was in London when the news unfolded. New tonight, 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay spoke with her about her experience being there. Mercedes.
Brent, Hannah Colon actually just returned home this morning. She told me witnessing what she did still feels surreal. Now, what started off as a spontaneous one-day trip in London with her friend turned into a moment that will go down in history forever.
I can't believe I was there at all for that day.
For Hannah Colon, the shock still isn't worn off.
It was just a lot to take in.
While she sat in the London Tea Room in Tower Grove on Saturday, she recalls every detail of what she experienced just 2 days ago.
It was definitely surreal. It was a blessing to see it, and also a really sad moment to be there for that part of history.
Colon's friend, who's a flight attendant, asked if she wanted to tag along with him to London. It was Colon's first time to England, and they only had one day there. Turns out that one day was a pretty impactful one.
We met some friends for high tea, and while we were at high tea, they announced that the Queen had passed.
Colon and their friends joined the thousands of people in front of Buckingham Palace, where flower after flower was placed on the gates.
Obviously, this is the Queen of England, but it was a world thing. The whole world was mourning her death, so you could see tons of people from all over were there.
Even though not everyone spoke the same language, Colon says the crowd came together in song. singing Amazing Grace to remember a queen who reigned for 70 years.
It was more just everybody was in thought and then just trying to absorb what happened.
Some even climbing onto the Queen Victoria Memorial in front of the palace to get a better view.
Everybody was just in shock. So a lot of people that climbed up there were just sitting and crying and watching.
While it's a memory Cologne will always have, she wanted to make sure her children had a piece of it too.
I even sent my kids postcards on purpose, postcards of her face so they could have a moment of that history too from England.
Her sons even writing their own condolences in a book for the Queen that the London Tea Room has on their counter.
Now I know that she is right now in heaven with God.
While she's back in the States, Cologne says the events of September 8th
This is something I will never forget.
will always hold a special place. Now, while Cologne was in front of the palace, she said it was obvious the whole world loved Queen Elizabeth. She said a lot of people around her talked about what a great person she was and her impact on so many lives.
Mercedes McKay reporting. New tonight, police investigating attempted break-ins at 2 area cannabis dispensaries. The first happened at Organic Remedies near South Lindbergh and Tesson Ferry Road around 4:20 this morning. St. Louis County Police found a broken glass door propped open and some damage inside. Right now, they don't know if anything was taken. Less than an hour later, Ferguson police investigating a break-in at the Green Light Dispensary. That's on South Florissant Road. Thieves broke the glass door to get inside. The owners told 5 on Your Side no money or products were stolen. Both break-ins now under investigation. Developing news out of Alton. A teenager is dead after an early morning crash involving a stolen Kia. Now, this happened on Bell Street around 3:45 this morning. Police say the teenager was driving north when he ran off the road and hit a tree. The boy was taken to a nearby hospital. That's where he died. Police are not revealing his name, but the family has been notified. Starting on Christmas Day, St. Louis County Police will work 12-hour shifts. That's to help combat an officer shortage right now. Chief Ken Gregory is asking for officers to be patient as the administration works out any issues that may come about during that transition. Today, another flood resource center opened for those who are still recovering from that record rainfall. The new location is at the Salvation Army Temple Center in St. Louis. There, you can find resources to help with home repairs and renovations, even rental assistance. The center will be open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Twists and turns in a prominent murder case that's turning heads. Tonight, our I-Team investigates the latest in the Pam Hupp saga. They say hips don't lie. Today, St. Louis getting a taste of Brazilian culture while celebrating a bigger purpose.
Rain gear needed to start Sunday. Much cooler jacket weather and breezy. I'll time out the rain.
Today, Congresswoman Cori Bush is endorsing Alderwoman Megan Green for the next president of the St. Louis Board of Aldermen. Bush describes Green as a, quote, fierce leader and advocate who will help deliver for our community. Green is challenging Alderman Jack Kodar in the special election, which will happen on Tuesday. Now, the former president, Louis Reed, resigned after he and 2 other board members were federally indicted in a pay-to-play scheme. Today, people gathering to help clean and repair a vandalized church in North St. Louis. Volunteers came out to help Church of Non-Denomination put its worship space back in order. Vandals struck the church a couple of weeks ago. They didn't steal much, but they did destroy a lot of things inside, including a baby grand piano.
Had to be a couple of them, because it was a nice sized piano. Why they did that, I don't know why. But when it landed on his head, it just smashed into pieces.
Just felt like the right thing to do. Terrible that somebody would do this, so trying to help them get their church back together so they can get back to servicing the community.
The church is accepting donations to help repair and replace what was lost. You can find a link to donate on this story at ksdk.com.
And coming up in weather, look at this. Still some lightning around Godfrey, Illinois, and also Staunton, Monell. Nothing severe, but lightning and heavy rain. We'll talk about our forecast when the rain comes to an end and how cool it's going to be tomorrow.
The long and twisted case of Pam Hupp takes yet another unusual turn. The 64-year-old is awaiting trial for the murder of her friend, Betsy Faria, a crime for which Faria's husband was originally convicted. Tonight, the I-Team's Christine Byers brings us the latest developments.
Pam Hupp has waived her right to a preliminary hearing in her trial for the murder of Betsy Faria. It's a relatively small development in court, which is gaining a lot of attention from Betsy's husband's legal team.
It's puzzling.
Joel Schwartz represented Russ Faria, who was originally charged with his wife's murder in 2001. He has always believed Hupp was the killer and eventually got Russ Faria's conviction overturned.
If you were Pam Hupp's attorney, would you advise her to waive her right to a preliminary hearing in this case?
I believe that her attorney is at least well versed in the law and understands what they are doing. However, I can't come up with a reason in a death penalty case why somebody in this particular situation would waive their right to a preliminary hearing.
In July 2021, Hupp was charged with Betsy Faria's murder and accused of framing Schwartz's client, Russ Faria, for the crime.
What was your reaction when you found out she waived her right to a preliminary hearing in this case?
I thought it was a mistake. Well, you would want to see as much as you can how evidence comes in, how witnesses present themselves, what a prosecutor might be attempting to argue in front of a jury. It essentially gives you, as you stated, a bit of a preview into what the evidence may or may not be.
Lincoln County Prosecutor Mike Wood said he could not comment on the pending case, and Hupp's public defender did not return a phone call seeking comment. Hupp is scheduled for an arraignment October 28th. Schwartz says he will be watching.
It's not without its challenges in that the initial investigation was so poorly done regarding Pam Hupp that it's difficult to recreate what there might have been had the investigation been done appropriately right at the start of Betsy Faria's death.
Hupp's attorneys also asked for a new judge, which is her right. We also spoke to the prosecutor who initially got Russ convicted. For her perspective on these developments, check out my story on KSDK.com. Back to you.
Today, St. Louisans experiencing a taste of Brazil and all of its culture after a 3-year hiatus. Just 2 hours ago, the Brazilian Day Fest wrapped up at the Yamanja restaurant in Benton Park. Brazilian Day is a street fest with live Brazilian music and dance lessons, food trucks, children's activities, and a whole lot more.
We're celebrating Brazil's independence from Portugal, and we want to showcase the Brazilian culture, which is a lot about dancing, having fun, eating, and drinking.
Attendees also got to participate in a soccer and capoeira workshop that involves combining elements of martial arts, dance, acrobatics, music, and spirituality. Lots of excitement there.
Love it. Yeah.
Jim, some folks actually experienced a bit of rain today in our area.
Yeah, you know, and thunder and lightning. In fact, numerous reports of that loud thunder. So not everybody had it, but Brent, as soon as that started up, and even in St. Louis County, St. Anne, for example, you know, that really heavy rain came down very fast, about 1 inch in 15 minutes. So a flood advisory was issued till about 9:30. That is over with. Now here is 100 above the park, looking toward the arch and the wheel. Camera shaking a little bit, so we're getting some wind out there. And of course, that camera sits way above 100 above the park there on about the 37th floor, the rooftop. So let's zoom into the thunderstorm activity that we're seeing right now. And we're looking at right around, again, Godfrey, Illinois. Some thunder and lightning, non-severe. Staunton, same thing, very heavy downpours. And it's moving more toward, northeast portions of our area, so almost out of the viewing area. Wentzville had a good thunderstorm, and now that's moved on and died out quite a bit. Widen out the shot, and you can see more rain over here. And this is actually a potent cold front that has slammed into that warm and humid air that was over us today. 87 for that high temperature, and you felt that humidity. So you know when you get a potent cold front, you get enough lift in here, you get those thunderstorms. We didn't have the exact setup for severe weather, but definitely some good thunderstorms in the area. Look at Kansas City, 57 degrees right now. St. Louis at 73. So Chilly air is coming. You're going to be shocked to see how cool it's going to be tomorrow, but 60s basically for the high temperatures in the afternoon and breezy. So watching that cold front tonight, let's put the futurecast into motion. You can still see that chance of showers and storms all the way through the night. And then in general, most of this activity should be dying down, but a good line of showers, maybe some thunder in the morning hours. So Sunday morning, rain is likely. Keep the umbrellas handy, the rain gear. And then it moves out of here in the afternoon. Still some clouds around. It's breezy. We're in the 60s for temperatures. You're going to be shocked because today was near 90. And then as we head into late in the afternoon and evening, spot shower or storm can't be ruled out, really a spot shower. Otherwise, it's clearing up by then. All right, high temperature today, 87, 65 for the overnight low, and 32/100ths of an inch of rain fell at Lambert. 10-day forecast showing temperatures tomorrow. You know, that midnight high is 70. That's why I have it at 70. Otherwise, we're in the 60s pretty much throughout the day. Breezy. And then by Monday and Tuesday, you know, upper 70s, low 80s, and we're clearing up. But Monday's a little on the breezy side. Look at the rest of the week. It's back to summer-like temperatures, mid to upper 80s, and lots of sunshine.
Yeah, but keep in mind, tomorrow you're really going to need a jacket or something just to stay warm because it's going to be pretty breezy.
It is, and after almost 90 today, it's going to feel really chilly.
Yeah, really will. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, Corey's here now with a look at sports.
Well, the Cardinals dugout was celebrating quite a bit in Pittsburgh tonight for a pretty good reason. I think you might have guessed it. It has to do with Albert Pujols. We'll have that for you coming up next.
Chasing 700 is sponsored by CarShield.
I think the Pirates and their fans may be the happiest people in all of baseball about this being Albert Pujols' final season. After all, the man was hitting .371 at PNC Park in his career coming into tonight's game, and as you probably already guessed, he raised that number even higher tonight. All right, there's Jack Flaherty. He was on the hill. He was okay, 3 runs in 5 innings. But I know you're here for Albert, so let's get to it. Here's the swing of the night. A towering blast for career home run number 696 to tie A-Rod for 4th most all time and tie the game at 3. You know the dugout loves it. There's Lars Nootbaar with the pepper grinder. Then it's going to be Albert to the rescue again. This time an RBI single will do it to tie the game at 4. Pujols was 3 for 4 tonight. Albert tied it twice, and Nolan Arenado untied it for good in the 9th inning. A bases-clearing double to put the Cards up by 3. Arenado was fired up after that one. You'll see him coming up here. Ryan Helsley eventually shut the door, and the Cardinals hang on to get the win over the Pirates, 7-5. If you were one of the thousands of people out at Norwood Hills Country Club today, you got your money's worth. Some of the biggest names in golf history teed it up and delivered an impressive leaderboard after 2 rounds of the Ascension Charity Classic. Here's the man at the top right now, Padraig Harrington, 11 under overall, and it was thanks in part to this ridiculous shot on this par 5 15th. He hits the green and will go on to birdie the hole. That's no joke. In the rough, underneath that tree, great shot. Now this guy, Bernard Langer, he's tied for 2nd with Steve Stricker, and this impressive putt from the fringe helped him get there. And big names at the top like Langer, Harrington, we're seeing right now, that's just par for the course for the Champions Tour.
I think that's what the Champions Tour delivers. It delivers, you know, household names all the time out there. There's certainly plenty of drama with us because we're certainly not perfect at this stage of our careers, but we know how to get it done as well. So it's pretty exciting watching the guys play.
It wasn't just about the pros today either. The Legends Charity Classic brought out Lee Trevino, Hale Irwin, Nancy Lopez, Ozzie Smith, the Wizard, Craig Berube, and Ryan O'Reilly from the Blues. Altogether, the Legends Charity Classic raised $62,500 for charity today. For Berube and O'Reilly, it was an honor and a chance to pick up some tips to use against their fellow Blues.
You know, it's special. It's kind of neat to be around them and just, you know, listen to them and watch them play a little bit. But it's a fun event and it's good. It's great for a great cause, obviously. But yeah, you loosen up after a few holes and it becomes a little bit more relaxed.
Over Parayko and Binner, I think, yeah, I think I'd probably take them more often than not. But no, not in the entire team, no. I think now Shenner's probably the best, yeah. But you know, hopefully get some pointers today from these guys, and then can take in their step and take down Shenner soon here.
All right, let's check out some college football action from today. Good news first, Illini taking on Virginia, and it was a great day in Champaign. This was the play of the day. Virginia can't handle the punt, and it's Matthew Bailey who ends up falling on the ball in the end zone for the Illini. Illinois had no problem finding the end zone today. They whooped Virginia 24-3. Not so great news for Mizzou against Kansas State. I'm not sure what was worse, the weather or just the Tigers today. Brady Cook and Jack Abraham threw a combined 4 interceptions. Deuce Vaughn for Kansas State ran all over the Tigers, and Mizzou got embarrassed by their old Big 12 rival 40-12. Also on the college football front, shout out Lindenwood University, 21-20 winners tonight. First ever Division I game, and they started off on the right foot.
Yeah, they
That's
did.
the Lions.
Awesome, man. Corey, thanks for that. All right, Jim, what are we looking at? We're going to need a jacket tomorrow.
We will, and rain gear to start, and then it clears up later in the day. So midnight temperature about 70, but highs tomorrow basically in the 60s with that breeze. So like Brent said, jacket weather, you'll feel it. Gust to 25 miles an hour tomorrow afternoon, clearing up especially late in the day or evening. And then 77 Monday, breezy, beautiful. And then as we head through the week, look at this, upper 80s by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So next weekend, a little on the hot side as we approach the end of summer.
All right, it's a streak of sunshine on the way.
Yeah.
How about that?
All
Thank you.
week.
There we go. Thank you for that. Thank you for your company. Saturday Night Live is next, and you can join us tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. We hope you have a great night.